Alrighty, folks, today we're gonna rank the best and worst Marvel movies of all time. This video is sponsored by PDS Dev. Okay, folks, as we go through this journey through the Marvel movies, we have one person who knows much about Marvel movies. That, of course, would be Phil, who's wearing the gear to show it.
Superman's my favorite Marvel hero.
Oh, man. And we also have Sarah, who doesn't even know what Marvel is or what comics are and is in the video for a reason no one can really figure out, actually.
I'm so happy to be here, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
The Marvel movies, I will admit that they are not my cup of tea, which means that my feelings about the Marvel movies tend to be more in the middle. Tends to be like, well, that was enjoyable, and then the minute I leave the theater, I don't remember a single thing about the movie that I just watched. It also means that the movies I tend to like from Marvel are the ones that are lighter and funnier. But today, we're gonna do my top 5 Marvel movies and also the bottom 5 Marvel movies. So these are not necessarily in order, but here are my top 5 Marvel movies. Number 1 is the original Iron Man. So the original Iron Man is really, really great. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr., who revivified his career on the back of this, and Jeff Bridges and Gwyneth Paltrow. It's excellent. It is Elon Musk wearing a suit, flying around, being libertarian. And it's great.
I am Iron Man.
It's great. Like, the message of the film is about how business is better than government. That is what the movie's about. Literally, the end of the film is him turning to Congress and being like, no, I'm not giving you my multi-billion-dollar weapon. You don't get to control America's national defense anymore. I do. I'm into it. I like it. So Iron Man 2008, that's my number 1. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. So the original Guardian of the Galaxy was a real breath of fresh air because it's just funny. It's Chris Pratt and Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper, and it's creative and gonzo and bizarre, and James Gunn really lets it all hang out. It's just enjoyable. And it's not meant to be serious. It's not meant to have any sort of actual ideological core. It's just a bunch of people going around doing fun things, and those people may include a non-talking tree as well as a talking raccoon.
I'm Groot.
Yeah, you said that.
Great soundtrack. Bad villain.
Yeah, Lee Pace is now like every villain in every movie, right?
Can you explain the raccoon thing? I'm so confused.
He's not a raccoon, actually. He's raccoon-like.
Don't call me a raccoon!
I'm sorry.
He's an alien that looks like a raccoon. As we'll see, it gets old. Number 3, Ant-Man. So Ant-Man is wildly underrated to me. It's a fun movie. There's nothing serious about it. There's nothing intense about it. It's just funny, and Paul Rudd is funny, and the script is good, and it's enjoyable. And that's all I'm looking for from Marvel movies. I understand there are people who watch the Marvel movies and like very into the Captain America, very serious mythology. But one of my big problems with Marvel is that Marvel is wildly inconsistent with its own characters. And we'll get to that when we get to some of the Captain America stuff, because you will note that there are no Captain America movies at the top of my list, even though people really, really like the Captain America movies, and I will explain why. Doctor Strange 2016, again, enjoyable. Like, I go for enjoyable with the Marvel movies. So Benedict Cumberbatch is great as Doctor Strange. I like origin stories, I do. And you'll notice that most of these are sort of the originals, right? Like Ant-Man's an origin story, Guardians of the Galaxy is an origin story, Iron Man's an origin story. Like, I want to know the backstory. Once we know the characters and they have like random sort of adventures, I find it less interesting because there's very little character development that happens from these characters. They're more like sitcom characters.
What are your thoughts on the criticism of him doing like a second-rate RDJ impression as Doctor Strange?
Kind of, maybe, but I don't know, I feel like that's a stretch. Also, if you're imitating somebody who's been incredibly successful as a superhero, then I don't understand why that's terrible or bad. Like, I think it's kind of a weak criticism. Okay, and then, again, filling out my enjoyable but not important movies. Thor Ragnarok. A lot of people like original Thor. I'm not as big a fan of original Thor. I think it takes itself too seriously. And Thor Ragnarok is just pure silly. And so you're watching it and you're like, this is just funny. The scene where he's in the arena and suddenly the Hulk appears is really fun. Like, it's one of the most memeable Marvel movies, Thor Ragnarok.
Yes!
And then they proceeded to just destroy Thor as a character. What the hell? Like, why? We'll just make fat Thor. Okay, that's like a one-off joke. You can't do anything with that. But he spends like all of Avengers just being fat. Now, Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame is sort of my extra here. We'll admit, do not love it.
You didn't cry in the theater?
Not even remotely.
Wow.
I liked the only reason it makes the top 6 even is because of the ambition of it. One of the problems in the Marvel universe, just generally, is that the villains are not that good.
The small price to pay for salvation.
So in the DC universe, you have Joker, who's like an all-time great villain. You have Lex Luthor, who's an all-time great villain. And these are like amazing villains. And then you go to the Marvel universe, and it's like Thanos, whose logic doesn't even make sense. Thanos, who's like, there was overpopulation on my planet, and that caused war. So what if I just make half of everything disappear? okay, well, if you have like the glove that can manifest, why don't you just make extra planets, my dude? But the big problem that I have, again, in these universes is that no one actually dies. Like, nobody just stays dead. Like, just stay dead. Like, if you're down, stay down, man.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
Wait, so are these not following the comic books, like, at all? Like, they just are making stuff up?
Half and half.
Okay. And then also, these two are the highest grossing in worldwide box office. Is that because they're good or because they had the most characters in them?
It was an event. This is an event movie. This is like this is the first big event movie in the theaters that I like. This was the biggest event in the theaters since the relaunch of the Star Wars brand in like the 90s.
It was like the finality of like a 23 movie run, so a lot of people were invested.
There's some rough moments in Endgame. That one shot of all the females on the one side is real rough. The moment when Captain Marvel shows up. So Captain Marvel breaks the Marvel universe. She just she just breaks it. I mean, we'll get to this when we get to the worst, okay? Because Captain Marvel is the worst. We'll get to more of these rankings, which you're either loving or hating in just one moment. First, getting into credit card debt, it's really easy, but getting out, the system is set up so you have a hard time doing it. If you're struggling with credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills, you need to check out PDS Debt. PDS provides a service to match you with debt solutions tailored to your financial situation. If you're making payments every month on your debt and your balances still aren't going down, PDS has solutions for you. Everyone with 10 grand or more in eligible debt qualifies. There is no minimum credit score required. Bad and fair credit are accepted. So if you ever get into these debt situations, you know it's really rough to get out. I have friends who've had this. It's really tough. PDS Debt is the best way to get out. PDS Debt has customized options for anyone struggling with credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills. They strive to understand your specific scenario. They can help provide alternative solutions to becoming debt-free. Save more while paying off your debt in a fraction of the time. Stop waiting. Start saving. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/Shapiro. It only takes 30 seconds. That's pdsdebt.com/Shapiro today. Again, pdsdebt.com/Shapiro. Go check them out right now. pdsdebt.com/Shapiro. Now on to the worst 5. So the worst is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is the worst. Captain Marvel is terrible. And you can see it from the Rotten Tomatoes score. So let me just give you the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the ones that I thought were the best, right? Iron Man, 94% Rotten Tomatoes, 91% audience. Guardians of the Galaxy, 92-92. Ant-Man, 83-85. Doctor Strange, 89-86.
Can't believe Ant-Man's in there.
I know.
Not Winter Soldier?
We'll get to it. Okay, Thor Ragnarok, 93-87. All of these, the audience liked it, and the critics liked it. Now we get to the movies that I did not like. By far the worst is Captain Marvel, where the audience gap is a massive 34%. 79% Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 45% from the audience. And this is for a reason, and it's because that movie f***ing blows.
The worst is they de-aged Samuel L. Jackson, but he's still like 70, so every time he has to walk, it's like Robert De Niro in The Irishman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Also, why are you doing that? Like, Samuel L. Jackson has been Samuel L. Jackson since he was like 30. There's no reason for it. The problem with Captain Marvel as a character is that Captain Marvel is a terrible character. Brie Larson gives one of the worst performances in movie history. She has every power, all of them. So where is the suspense?
I think she was just miscast. I don't think Brie Larson can do Captain Marvel very well.
Okay, so who would you have cast as Captain Marvel?
Gina Carano.
Thank you, everyone, for that.
Heck yeah.
They made her incredibly boring as a character. And part of that is because if you are going to make a female superhero, then there should be something about her that actually means it's important that she's female. Yeah, like Black Widow, actually, they tried to make characteristics of Black Widow that are unique to women. If, again, the idea is there's something special about the woman doing this, then she has to actually do some, stereotypically female things from time to time. Okay, Captain Marvel, not good. Okay, other ones that are not good. So The Marvels, as you would imagine, for exactly the same reason. No explanation necessary, absolute garbage, and the box office reflects that. Yeah, $206 million for a Marvel movie that probably cost $200 million to make and another $200 million to market. Giant fail for the Marvels. Thor Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi has no idea where to stop. There is a problem that some directors have, where they get sort of the Michael Cimino syndrome, where it's like, here is the thing that brought me here, and now I'm going to do so much of it that it's coming out your ears.
I got fucking octopus coming out of my fucking ears, mate.
Right? He takes all the things that kind of make Thor Ragnarok interesting, and then he just quadruples them.
He also threw his VFX artist under the bus in like a press video, which did not go very well.
Does he look real?
No, none of us.
Does she look like...
Something looks very off about this.
This is my other problem, is that so many of these movies are so VFX heavy. Like, that's not how you make a good movie. It isn't. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, exactly the same problem, which is it's not super horrible.
What?
No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
Some of these characters should have been shows. Like Guardians of the Galaxy as like a weekly sitcom would be amazing. Like, what is the difference in mood between Guardians of the Galaxy and Loki? Like, not much. I mean, it's kind of the same. Like, it should have been a series anyway. Captain America Civil War.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I will explain why. I will explain why. The characters make zero sense. Zero. Okay, so here's why Captain America doesn't make any of my top lists, and it's not just because I think Chris Evans is a schmuck.
What the shit?
If you read the original comics of Captain America, the entire purpose of Captain America is that Captain America is John McCain. He's like a 1940s crotchety old man who's in the body of a 25-year-old buff dude. Right, so like he's supposed to have all the manner, and there's a little bit of that in the original Captain America where he kind of arrives in the future and he still has all of these, you know, kind of characteristics.
I think we got a spy amongst us. A spy? What? The Jap kid. What the?
I'm not a spy.
He's Korean.
And it should be oddly charming, right? Captain America should be coming and being like holding doors for women. Captain America immediately turns into like a soy boy. Like by the time we get to Avengers Endgame, he's attending like therapy sessions, right?
Total beta energy.
The whole character of him is that he's a man out of time. And that completely disappears in his character. There's also another big problem with that, and it's true even in the comics. Captain America should be the one on the side of the American government, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man should be the person who opposes it. Someone's gonna have to explain to me why they ideologically switch places. Iron Man, 2008, Robert Downey Jr. is, I will not give over this suit, no way, no how, not happening. By the time he gets to Civil War, he's like, we should all register with the government because I'm a good little vaxxer, and I'm gonna make sure that everybody has their gun registered with the federal government.
Is that how you see this? This is protection?
Iron Man is precisely the wrong person to do that. Tony Stark is like, leave me the F alone and get out of my business. I have my own island and a bunch of Bitcoin. And Chris Evans is the one who literally was created by the American government. And then he's like, no, I'm not gonna turn over my identity to the American government. So that was my big ideological problem. Well, folks, those are my rankings for Marvel movies. You can leave your hatred in the comments, and we'll see you here next time.